very funny, runs a show, which I'm fucking blanking on, Gamersville, I think. It's really awesome. You should go to the open mic. But he's super funny. You're going to love him a whole lot. Put your hands together for JD Katz.
All right, how we doing? Woo! Make some noise for no reason. Woo! Like you said, my name is JD Katz, and really that's actually not a nickname. I'm just so Jewish that my parents named me after a law firm. I'm very generically Jewish. I even work out like I'm Jewish. Like if someone asks me if I want to go for a run, I go, oh, I do 401k, I don't do 10k. And I look at too, like for example, my friend's car got stolen. And we tracked it down to a chop shop, and he asked me if I could go pick it up with him. I said, sure. And I happened to be wearing a suit that day. So we get to the chop shop, and they immediately assume that I'm the lawyer. I was like, I am JD. And then they just gave it back. So you know how generically Jewish you have to look to strike legal fear? Criminal organization? Apparently it's this Jewish. But in spite of my me looking like I'm Moses' brother, I was not raised particularly Jewish. I was a latchkey kid. Anybody else a latchkey kid here? Yeah, the rest of you had parents who cared where you were? All right, if you don't know, latchkey kid is a 1970s way of raising your kids where they give you a key to the house when you're 8, like you have a job and pay bills, and they say, good luck, dinner's at 6. Yeah, common in 1975, not so much in 2006 when I was gang banging on the cul-de-sac. It was weird growing up like that, because my friends were getting cell phones and Nintendo, and I was getting cigarettes. And porno with full bush. So you got that too, okay. We'll compare notes later. Did you also have a rotary phone in your house?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had. Because they were like, when are you going to get a cell phone? I was like, we're still working up to the cordless phone in my house. I would just have to practice with the rotary going, all right, I'll call my friend in a week after I get to the number. I actually got a car before I got a cell phone, if you can believe that. And before you think, why is he complaining about a car? You haven't heard about it yet? This car had no seatbelts, no airbags, but 2 cigarette lighters, all right, because we partied at my house. And I actually couldn't take the driver's test, so I had to ask my dad. I was like, Dad, can we get some safety features like, you know, seatbelts and airbags? He looked at me with disgust. Like I had slapped my grandmother with that question. And it was like, seatbelts? You don't need no seatbelts. Put your hand up on the dash like a man, all right? Anticipate the accident. So I don't blame him though, because he was raised by my grandma, so he never stood a chance. My grandma went from the Holocaust to the Israeli army to the south side of Chicago, and that was her toning it down. And then for some reason she decided to retire in Northbrook, Illinois, which was a weird place because Northbrook, Illinois is filled with, you know, soccer moms and lawyers and people who generally abide by the Geneva Convention. And her favorite move was fighting in the grocery store. Yeah, she was the Jewel-Osco champ. Frozen section division. You'd feel bad because there'd be these soccer moms who were like buying food for their kids. They were like in the frozen section going, I'm gonna buy my little Jacob some chicken nuggets. And my grandma would just come with her World War II flashbacks from the top rope with haymakers. And she'd pick up the nuggets like they were the belt and just lord it over them. Like, yeah, you thought. And then I had to go to school like that. And they'd ask me what my favorite part of going grocery shopping was, and I was like, winning. So the police came, obviously. And she used to treat them like post-fight interviews. Like, man, what was going through your head? I don't know, she thought coming into my aisle. Like that. And I was like, man, you realize this is on the record, right? She was like, record? I'm undefeated. Eventually, we did have to retire her. So she didn't go to jail, she just had to stay home. Okay. So then she had to pick up a new activity, which was fighting with scammers on the phone. Her favorite was the "We have your grandson" scam, which says a lot about me. And so I'm not gonna do the scammer accent because you all know what that sounds like. I don't need to get canceled before I've even started. But they would call and be like, "Hello, we have your grandson." She'd be like, "How much?" 500. 500 for him? No. How about 200? They're like, "Ma'am, we'll cut off a toe." She goes, "I don't pay full price for damaged goods." These Jews are always looking for discounts, am I right? Now, at first, she actually didn't understand the difference between, Indians and Indians. So when, we had to give her a little geography, so she was like, "Who are these people?" My grandmother, just Indians calling, asking for money. She's like, "Indians? I know care what tribe they come from. We burned down the casino." Listen, that's my time, everyone. Thanks a lot. I'm Judy.